I'm going to reference some staffing numbers from PSPC's Human Resource Planning Summary and the Treasury Board's open data site here. You and I have talked about Phoenix a lot. Now, I'm talking about the four, quote, payments and accounts, quote, in PSPC summary that lists 4,792 FTEs for fiscal year 2022-2023. But that number drops to 2,438 for 2023-2024. That's about half as many employees. So even worse, the Treasury Board lists the number of workers for PSPC Federal Pay Administration as about 2,960 for 2021-2022, but the number for plan workers in 2023-2024 is only 761. That's about a quarter of last year's employees. So I'm concerned by this drastic reduction in public servants. And I mean, this is coming at a time, you know, about the backlog, the 209,000 transactions right now sitting in that backlog that are, you know, are public servants that are wrongfully waiting for. It's totally unacceptable. So this trend is that the number of backlog transaction is rising, not diminishing. So we're concerned as New Democrats. I can't see how the government will be able to pay its employees with a federal pay administration staff of over only 761 federal full-time workers. Minister, can you talk about your plan on outsourcing, and are you planning to outsource, you know, the contract or back to the departments for pay delivery? And maybe you can talk about what's being considered.
Mr. Johns, I think you need to be aware that actually we are adding employees to support the stabilization of Phoenix. I think the numbers you're referring to have something to do with an expiry of a certain number, but going forward, we are definitely adding employees. And so, again, perhaps the deputy can explain why it looks like they're being decreased, because they are being added.
Okay, just before he does, I just want to make sure that he's aware, and you know this, that Labour has been asking, the union's been asking department representatives repeatedly whether it's a mistake in these plans or whether they're accurate, you know, since the time that they've been announced, and haven't received a response. So maybe you can speak to them as well when you're speaking to me in your response.
So thank you for the question. So as the Minister was suggesting, this is a result of a 3-year tranche of funding that expired at the end of the previous fiscal year. The budget 2023 announced new funding for pay administration. It's not yet in the main estimates, and consequently, it's that funding that is actually helping expand the pay center, and we've added 570 staff since last fall. And continue to augment. There were more added just in the last month, and we have another 150 or so planned for over the course of the summer, which is adding considerably to the capacity to get both at new intake in pay to keep up with the intake, but also to address backlog reduction.
Good to make sure that they're aware of what your plan is, because they're the most impacted. Many people are losing their homes still as a result of not being paid or now being overpaid and that money being called upon.